Kia ora, welcome back to another version of RISE 2025 interviews. And today I've got the amazing Trina Tamati. Kia ora, Trina.
Kia ora, Rachel. How are you?
I'm Kater Pie. I'm great.
Good. Good to hear.
And all the better for seeing your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. I love chatting to you. God, it makes you feel so nice.
So today I'm joined by Trina, who is the tournament CEO of the Nines in New Zealand.
Yes.
And she's also the winner of the next Woman of the Year 2016 sport category. Congratulations.
Very exciting. I actually, really funnily, the awards were last month and obviously covered in the Next magazine last month, but I just got the new edition this month and there's another spread in there.
Oh.
So it was kind of a nice, like, yeah, really cool.
I know that my mum loved reading your story. And she did say, oh, isn't that Trina that came down to us? I said, yes, that's Trina. So, yeah, I think your story will continue to be read by us all and inspire us all.
Wonderful. Hopefully. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
So, I think I'm just going to leave it over to you just to introduce yourself, and then we're going to go straight into the questions about our favourite subject, women.
Yes.
Women in leadership and where we are today. So, kia ora, Trina.
Thank you. Yes, so obviously my name's Trina Tamati. I am the CEO of the NRL Auckland Nines and have been since its inception back in 2014, which is very exciting. I have kind of always been in sport. My career has always been within sport, which is kind of fitting given my family's connection to mainly rugby league in New Zealand, but a little bit of rugby and a little bit of netball with the cousins as well. And we grew up very much in a non-conventional sense. My childhood kind of took a very different and non-normal way, I guess. But one thing that always was privy in our lives was sport. And we moved a lot. We moved a lot as children, we moved a lot as teenagers, and I went to a lot of different schools. So sport for me was always a way to connect with other people and has always represented that for me throughout my life. So it's very fitting that I now am able to help, I guess, put on or stage sporting events that connect and bring lots of people together for pure entertainment and enjoyment, really.
And I know that this is the 4th year of the Nines here.
Correct. Yes.
And next February is when the next Nines comes to Auckland, and I know it's a big event for families, and that's what I love about it.
Yes.
Did you always, obviously always in sport, did you travel with your passion of sport?
I did, actually. I see, at school I was never really I wasn't ever great at playing sport. I was good, made the odd rep team, but never really great. So I was very lucky when I left high school and went into my very first proper job, that it was for an organisation such as Nike New Zealand, who steered me, who were a global giant, clearly, but steered me on a sports marketing career. So they kicked me off in the late or mid-90s. It says how old I am. And from there, it kind of, it went from Nike, I went across to the UK, we've done some major events in the UK and across Europe, which gave me some amazing exposure to all sorts of things, even from budgets and finance and operations and scope and scale, really, which enabled me to come back down to Australasia back in early 2000s. I spent some time in Australia learning a lot there as well with, Australian Open tennis, and Commonwealth Games and Grand Prix, so they've got some really big stuff there too, and was able to bring all of that back to New Zealand in 2010 when I took the role with New Zealand Rugby League as a senior exec there.
Yes.
And it's been rugby league ever since.
Yeah.
So,
And I know that in sport in New Zealand, there aren't as many women in those senior exec roles. Tell us more about how it actually is in your industry.
I think across, if you take the three top sports, being rugby league, cricket, the three main male sports that are played in New Zealand. I think I'm probably one of very few senior women executives, and I may be slightly out on this now because this is a little bit old in terms of research, but I definitely know 6 to 12 months ago I was the only female Māori leader across those sports. So it's really disheartening, and it's really upsetting to see that in a country that has so many amazing Polynesian or Indigenous women executives. Yeah,
absolutely. So, for me, looking on to what you've achieved, it's really inspiring for our other generations or our next generations coming through. So I know that I've spoken to a lot of people, and it is really encouraging to see Māori, Pacifica, Indigenous women in these senior exec roles. Where is your whānau from, Trina?
So Ngāti Kahungunu me te Aotearoa. So I grew up in Hawke's Bay. My mother's side is all from Bridgecar, and my dad's side's all from Taranaki. So and a lot of those whānau still in those areas, flying the flags and stuff. Yeah, and I moved to Auckland when I took the role, permanently moved to Auckland when I took the role at Nike back in the mid-90s. So yeah, I would love to see and help more of those whānau come up through the leadership ranks. I know they're there, and I know they're doing amazing things in sports clubs, and it's just getting them from that administrator doer role into and growing them into more of a leadership positions.
Yes. And so, this is not uncommon globally to find not as many women in sport and in the sporting industry. I know currently one of our, and I know Melody Robertson is also on her leadership journey, and she's in the US as part of the ESPN leadership program. So that's really encouraging.
Yeah, she's doing amazing. Mel's done amazing stuff across broadcast. And she's really kicking some massive goals and breaking down a lot of boundaries. And since, if you even look back, since she took or became the face of, I think netball was one of her, rugby and netball became the face of rugby and netball on TV, more and more women have been invited into those positions. And that's really encouraging. Yeah, we need that. We need more faces.
Yes. And so we move on to our real topic, which is around gender equality, gender equity. Where do you see, especially with the presidential election just finished, where do you see women in leadership roles today, both nationally and globally? What's your take on where we are?
Oh, I think we've got a long way to go. Which saddens me when I think how far we've come, but how much further we have to go. And I think it will be a constant battle for a long time. And I don't think there is a silver bullet. I wish there was, and I wish it was as easy as just saying, every single one that's fantastic out there must be in a role by 2020, or I think we've discussed before the quota system. I would love to see more women have the courage to take that next step from, as I said, a doing role into more of a strategic role, and then into more of a leadership role. And I think we have so much to offer in terms of our skill set and our ability to manage home and work and really, really shine. And I just would love to see more women, particularly in my area, put their hands up for opportunities when they come up, to have the courage to step out of their day-to-day role and say, I'm here and I can do this. And more women and men supporting those women in those roles as well. I really think there is a challenge to be made to men in New Zealand and globally, but home is where the heart is, to say, hey, I've got great women in my team and I want to see them grow. I want to see them move up, and supporting that. And until not that I want to say it's all men, because it's not, but until men actually say, hey, I'm going to allow you to move up. I'm going to give you the space to voice your opinion, and I'm going to make it okay. We've got a battle on our hands, and we're really, really lucky in this society, Rachel. We've got people like you, and there are other women out there who are really advocating for change, and and every little bit that current leaders like myself and others that are in my position can make and do, we have to. We owe that to our next generation of women coming through. Yeah. So there's a massive movement, and that movement just needs to keep going. And when you find good men who are willing to mentor and help and open the doors up and broaden the level around us, then we've got to hold on to them too and make them bring them into the circle and make them help us, because that's critical to making it equal, gaining equal footing on all levels.
Yes. And so would you say that you've had male supporters, mentors, sponsors in your pathway to leadership, and is that important?
I think it's critical. Yes is the answer to that. Two of my main mentors are fantastic men who have given me the chance to grow and given me the chance to be in this particular role, and have helped me move from being a manager to being a leader to being a governor. So and from that mentoring, those two gentlemen, one is my boss now, Martin Snedden, who's well known within the sports industry, and the other would be Jim Doyle, who's also very well known in rugby league and sport and business. And both of them have helped and guided me along the last sort of 5 or 6 years. And that's really seen my growth go from sort of general day-to-day manager into sitting on, in directorship roles for a couple of quite large sports. So if I hadn't had them, I don't know where I would be career-wise, but they've been brilliant.
Yeah. And I know you've also got a really strong wahine women's network around you as well, which I also believe is part of our strength and part of the different energy that we bring into leadership roles. What do you say about women who don't support other women?
And I've had a few of those in my time too, and continue to do so on a daily basis. And there are some really it blows my mind when I think about agendas, really, is probably the best way to put it. And I get that people are protective and that people are on their own path to doing what they want to do in their career, and they find it challenging to open the doors of acceptance to others, and that can be quite debilitating, and it can be hugely cost draining, I guess, in terms of time and resource on other people within the company. And I think it's really sad. We have got to pick each other up and drive each other and celebrate each other. Yes. And I'm really, really fortunate. I've got an amazing circle of girlfriends, of wahine around me, as you said, you being one of them, that continuously pick you up, push you forward, challenge you to step out of the comfort zone every now and again, And often that can be really quite constructive and confronting, but they are amazing women doing amazing things in their own right. And I think any other female that's not doing that then needs to check themselves, really. Fortunately, there's a few of them around.
I love it. I love it. Check yourselves, girls.
Check yourself.
Yes. And so I know that you have a passion around teenage mums and supporting mums going forward. What's your kaupapa? What's your purpose behind that?
Yeah. So I have a background in psychology, and my postgrad is in child and adolescent psychopathology, and have done a lot of study on the step parent, mainly male step parent involvement in a stepchild's upbringing from 0 to 5, and there's a lot of research that indicates that is a critical component in child abuse and poverty, particularly within poverty. And I have dedicated myself now to helping teenage women to find and dream big and find that love for themselves. But what I have found in doing that work is there's a cycle. There's obviously a cycle that needs to break, and it's the welfare dependent, unfortunately welfare dependent cycle of young mum has baby, lives in or is dependent on benefit, and therefore lots of other not very nice stuff goes on in their lives, particularly from the child's birth through to when the child is 3 or 4, if they make it that far without being hurt. And I have a long-term goal to try and help break that cycle, and a holistic approach to taking mum and baby together, and hopefully looking at trying to save not 1 but 2 lives in one shot. Yeah, just really about, development, from brain development in children from 0 to 3, and what that looks like for both mum and baby, and health and nutrition and love and self-love. And putting them out into the workforce with the ability to be, like I am, a solo mum, but a full-time career woman.
Yeah.
And people can do it, women can do it, and it's just giving people those skills and ability to not be welfare dependent, which would be nice, to have a purpose in career, but also to be a loving, nurturing mummy.
And what I love about what you've achieved is you have that balance of being, you're actually living what you say you're going to do. You're a living example. And so I think that's really inspiring for women to know that you are a single mum, you've done it, you continue to grow and develop as a leader in your career, and you're also looking at something else is coming up for you next year that you're really focused on.
Yes, I'm actually really excited. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm really excited. I am next year taking on the challenge of doing full immersion, full-time Te Reo Māori. So I'm stepping into Te Wānanga o Aotearoa's full-time course next year. I'm going to try and balance that with full-time work and full-time mummyhood. But what am I thinking? But it's really important for me. It's really, really a big part of what I feel is missing from my ability to deliver excellence within our culture here. And hopefully this time next year, I could be doing this in Māori.
Yes.
I have a little bit of linguistics, but I don't have what I need to be able to say that I can. So that's the next challenge.
Yeah. And I love that you're putting those challenges, stepping outside of your comfort zone and continuing to develop, because I know how that feels and I'm on that journey as well. And I wish that I could do the total immersion with everything else. But hey, you never know.
You never know. And that's the thing. I might get through the first term and just go, no, what have I done? But I'm hoping I've got a lot of amazing Māori speakers around me who are just gold, and I know will support me through the year. So with their blessing and their tōku, I will do it.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. So, in closing our wonderful kōrero and our conversation around women in leadership, what is the message that you would like to leave for our next generation of women and women in leadership coming through?
Yeah, there is a saying that I say often to my daughter. I say daily to myself. And I spend 20 minutes every morning in meditation, and this is how I finish that meditation. And it's very, very simply, be kind in your thoughts, whether it is with yourself or with others. Be kind in your way that you speak to yourself and to your others, and be kind in your actions. And if we can just take the time each day to really try and be kind in every way possible, I think we will make a massive difference to the way we act and respond, and the way that people will act and respond back. Be kind.
Be kind, and be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. We say the most horrible things to ourselves sometimes, you know, and we just reminder each day that you just need to be kind. Be kind.
Wow, ngā mihi nui kia koe, Trina. I know that this time next year we will have a whole different conversation, and Te Reo Rangatira is
hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, you know, on that note, thank you so much for joining me as part of the RISE ambassadors. I know that people will get so much out of your kōrero, and thanks for making it fun and light as well, Trina.
Thank you, Rach. Thank you for having me. Much love.
Ka kite.
Bye.